some of the things that they've seen and heard by officers that should not be in the organisation, it doesn't mean the whole organisation behaves that way. So what we feel is that by over time, when people start to recognise that we are doing it because it's the right thing to do, rather than just trying to fill quotas, you'll then start to get people showing an interest. And that's where my team then works with them, with key community leaders, with parents, to be able to say to somebody, now's the time for you to consider. And we believe that takes time.
Il a dit, il travaille à la police depuis 31 ans maintenant. Donc quand il fait quelque chose, il le fait très bien. Et son rôle, c'est parler aux gens. Les gens découvrent l'intérêt qu'il y a à adhérer à la police. Et la police n'est pas pour tout le monde. Mais plus il parle avec les gens pourront découvrir quel intérêt il peut avoir pour se faire enrôler dans la police et travailler avec eux. Et puis ce n'est pas question seulement, parce que la question de notre fierté, ce n'est pas pour remplir les quotas. Et non, ce n'est pas question de quotas. Nous, on explique aux gens pour que les gens puissent adhérer à la police. Lui, quand il fait le travail, il le fait très bien et on peut lui faire confiance.
So going off of what you've said, that there's a lot of things that are seen and heard. So something that's been seen quite a lot of late is police brutality towards members of ethnic minority. So if the police force are wanting more ethnic minorities to join, how can the police force ensure that the emotional well-being, mental well-being, physical well-being of anyone that joins the force is sustained throughout their career with the police force?
Yeah, again, a very good question. What I would say, if I do it in two parts, the things which people see on social media, on wherever, as an organisation we need to do better about explaining, and we also need to be a lot better and a lot quicker in when we do things wrong, we should apologise, and we should be able to demonstrate that we're holding those officers accountable for doing the things that they shouldn't do. We should also recognise that there are victims and their wider family, and we need to be doing a lot more in being able to repair the damage to those relationships. For officers, especially officers from minority backgrounds, there's a double challenge. There's the challenge where some of their friends or the community might be saying, why do you want to join the police? So there's a challenge of doing that. And then when you join an organisation where you are in the minority, you then need to know what support mechanisms there are. There are over 40 staff support associations within the Met Police. There's a Black Police Association, Muslim Police, Sikh. There's so many different associations that are there to provide support to those individuals. And we also have occupational health providers, and we also make sure that we have an employee assistance program to ensure if there anybody is feeling that they're either isolated, there are support mechanisms there for those individuals. But I think the most important thing about it is if you go into an organisation where you feel welcomed and you feel you can be your genuine self, then you're more likely to stay. If we don't take care of people, they will leave just as quickly as they join. So my job is to not only try to attract people, but make sure there are right mechanisms in there so they feel comfortable.
La question était sur la brutalité policière. Comment vous voulez prendre les minorités alors que la plupart des brutalités de police c'est contre nous qui sommes minoritaires? Comment allez-vous aider ces gens qui vont rejoindre la police émotionnellement et tout ça? Il a répondu ce que nous voyons dans les médias sociaux, nous faisons beaucoup d'efforts pour expliquer. Nous devons expliquer ça. Et puis aussi quand les choses ne sont pas bonnes, nous devons toujours expliquer et puis nous demander des excuses. Pardon. Quand on est de minorités ethniques et qu'on rejoint l'organisation qui est dominée par d'autres, on a beaucoup à apprendre. Il est là pour parler à ceux qui viennent, qu'ils se sentent qui sont bien intégrés dans la police, et puis eux aussi peuvent se sentir non ici, pas forcément entrer et ressortir, mais je suis venu pour faire une carrière et rester pendant longtemps dans cette carrière policière. Il y a un système de support très bien organisé qui lui-même aussi fait partie pour encourager les jeunes, et pas seulement les jeunes qui adhèrent à la police, à se sentir à l'aise et welcome.
Okay.
So I guess what the main consensus is here is that we want to try and avoid further hurt in the community. So through that, you have to recognize, as you said already, that there is a lack of trust, and as we discussed prior to recording, there's a lack of trust within BME communities and police forces as a whole, whether that originated here or back where they originally came from. So how can we ensure, or what is being put in place to aid building that trust back up?
It starts with going into schools at an early age, where young children, where they see police officers in a positive light, they see them helping and supporting. It starts with us going into churches, faith forums, and being able to demonstrate that we are human beings behind our uniform, and that once people start to see us, like all humans, we've got good, we've got bad, we make mistakes, but we also recognize that we have an important role to play. And I think the key thing for me is I can say anything to you today, but it's my actions over a period of time that will demonstrate whether or not I am true in what I'm doing and what it is that I'm trying to achieve. And that's the same with any police officer. We have to demonstrate over a long period of time before people will trust us, but we have to recognize, and my genuine belief is the Met Police will be a lot better if we have more diversity inside the organization, because we will be able to understand the communities that we're serving.
Alors, la question était posée et il se cite dans la police. Nous partons par exemple dans les écoles primaires, écoles secondaires. Les enfants voient quoi c'est la police, on appelle school liaison officer. Et puis ils partent dans les églises. Mais tout ça, ils sont des humains. En toute personne, il y a du bon et du mauvais. Donc, l'important du rôle que la police joue, c'est leur action. Comme on dit en anglais, action speak louder than words. En français, c'est quoi? Les actions parlent plus que les mots. Donc, c'est quand ils agissent qu'on peut juger la personne. Mais la police, pour lui, la police sera une meilleure place pour tout le monde si la police est vraiment diverse. Donc, il y a beaucoup de personnes de différents backgrounds dans la police. C'est ça.
Sorry, just to add a backbone to that question that I've just asked. So you have mentioned about time being a thing, about it might take time to be able to build that trust. So what does that mean for the meantime? It will take a while for people to be able to see that, you know, the police that they're showing going in schools or going to the communities aren't just, you know, exceptions to the rule. But how do we make sure that in the meantime we don't feel at risk of police as well, and that we can trust people in the meantime as well? So in the short term, what can we do?
Well, I think having conversations like this is a start. My team goes out on a daily basis, we engage, and some people are more trusting, some people it takes a lot longer, but we are there every single day going out looking to engage. We also look at opportunities where we can work with key partners, provide funding to be able to help them in doing the work that they're doing, which will hopefully, by them spreading the word and speaking to people, to get people to change their views. But I think it's a collective effort. It's vitally important that we have a policing service, and I say service, not police force, because many people from the black community feel that they are having enforcement on them rather than a service. And we need to be able to show that we understand that, and we have to do that on a daily basis.
Notre fille a posé la question, comment on peut plutôt avoir la confiance en la police. Comment garantir que cette confiance est là? Il dit, c'est dans des occasions comme celle-ci, par exemple, parler aux gens, faire la conversation avec des gens, et aller dans les communautés avec les partenaires qui peuvent aussi envoyer les messages dans la communauté à d'autres personnes. Petit à petit, certainement, la confiance va revenir. Et avec le travail, avec nos partenaires comme nous, l'Église catholique, par exemple, le Monique catholique de Londres, qui a vu l'opportunité et a demandé des funding, il envoie les messages. Donc, spread news, en français, éparpiller les messages. Éparpiller les messages. Petit à petit, les gens vont comprendre que la police n'est pas seulement une force qui vient brutaliser les gens, mais plutôt une force pour le service. C'est un service pour la communauté.
So my final question just is a bit of a reflection of what I asked earlier about what the police service offers, not the force. So I've got that point. So you've mentioned, there's scope to join IT or HR, but is it possible for someone that already has a prior background to join the service? So for example, if they're from health, how is there scope for them to join the police service?
Yeah, so we outsource a lot of our health provision. So yes, there would be opportunities. I always say to people, if you're interested, then all you need to do is go on the website, make contact. If we are not able to directly help, we can then signpost you to people that can help. But we have people from so many different backgrounds that when they join, they realize that there are so many different things they can do within one organization. I've had many people say, I'm only going to be here for a couple of years. 10 years later, they're still in the organization because they've done different jobs.
Et d'autres filles ont posé la question, mais si quelqu'un a déjà un travail qu'il fait, est-ce que c'est possible, comme un infirmier ou tout ça, est-ce que c'est possible de joindre les services de la police? Et il a dit oui, certainement, parce qu'il y a des gens qui viennent seulement. Il y a beaucoup de choses à faire dans la police. D'autres disent que je viens seulement pour faire 4 ans, la police veut partir, mais après tout, fait 10 ans parce qu'il a fait les formations et se sent à l'aise pour faire une carrière dans la police.
And just to
Final question as well.
Final 2 questions, I guess. So I guess they kind of tie together. So it's more about the just moving forward from here. So what can we do generationally? How can we make sure that this continues generationally, so that this isn't just for the people of now, and that it can continue for people that are younger? And then also on top of that, I guess, comes with age. Is there like a particular target age group that you're looking for right now? What would be most beneficial for you, I guess?
Okay, so start with the final question first. So the age group, you can apply to be a police officer if that's the route. You can apply at 17 and join at 18. And the current age limit is 57. So I think that probably covers everybody in this room. And there are people that we have young people who from about the age of 11, 12 that can join the cadets. And the reason why it's good to join the cadets because it gives them a lot of the grounding in terms of team working, personal presentation, and even if they don't want to become a police officer, it helps them in their future lives. The entry routes at the moment, there's an opportunity to go down the, if you don't have a degree, you can join the police, study to be a police officer whilst gaining a degree. After 3 years, you have a full degree in policing, no student debt. So a lot of people financially, it might be the first time someone in their family has been able to go to university and not have that financial burden. If you already have a degree, you can join and gain a diploma in policing. And these are all transferable skills. And we've also seen a number of women who have, say, traditionally raised their children and they've got to a certain age where the children are now going to university. they're looking and thinking, I might look at a second career. And it is more empowering when you see women out on the streets, and it's their way that they engage with people. They break down those barriers. Quite often, when you see a hostile situation, it's more likely a woman can walk in there and diffuse the situation. So that is why we are looking for a range of people, different backgrounds, really encouraging women to consider a career. And I wouldn't have done it for 31 years if I didn't think it was important.
La question était sur l'âge. Mais à 17 ans, tu peux faire la demande pour être policier. Mais à 18 ans, tu intègres la police. Et l'âge varie de 18 ans, disons 17 ans, jusqu'à 57 ans. Et il a dit presque tout le monde ici serait dans les groupes, à part moi bien sûr. Je préfère être dans les groupes. Et il dit souvent, quand il y a des situations sur la rue, et quand on voit une femme qui vient intervenir souvent, ça calme beaucoup d'esprit. Donc c'est pour là qu'ils ont engagé des femmes, des hommes, pour essayer de prouver que la police n'est pas ce que les gens pensent, mais la police est vraiment pour le service. Si tu n'as pas de degré de qualification, par exemple, tu t'inscris pour faire 3 ans et tu obtiens le degré en policing. Mais si tu as même la qualification, tu joins et tu peux faire d'autres formations. Ça, il n'y a pas de problème pour ça.
Yeah, excuse me, Chief Superintendent. I've got maybe a question. Yeah. So, is more about the language barrier? Because I've seen even in the comment there, one of them has been asking us to speak more in French than in English. So you can see already that there is a point of language barrier. So the first question is, when you say they can do a degree in policing, is there any particular university or you have a special school for that?
Yes.
That's the first question. And the second one, how you think it might be helpful for those who have language barrier?
Okay, so we have 4 universities that we are aligned to within London, where an individual will apply and they will go to one of those 4 universities based on where they live, and that's where they will be studying. So they'll study, and at the same time they will be going out to learn the job and understanding. So it's a blended learning approach.
Yeah.
In terms of language, we work with a number of colleges and universities. If English is not the first language, the person does need to have a GCE within English, because you'd understand if they're working in the job, they need to have that basic level of understanding. However, a number of colleges provide that free of charge. So all of these things, if someone is interested, we can have those conversations. We sit down with people, and I have a team of over 60 officers and staff. Over 65% of my staff are from underrepresented groups. Many of them, English is not their first language.
Et on a posé la question sur les études. Didier a posé la question sur les études. Il dit, les études que tu parles sur le policing, est-ce qu'il y a des universités dont on parle là-bas pour faire ces études? Il a dit oui, il y a 4 universités avec qui il travaille. Et puis son équipe a 60 personnes. Mais sur 60 personnes, 65%, ce sont des policiers qui sont venus d'ailleurs, dont l'anglais n'est pas la première langue. Mais si tu as des problèmes de langue, par exemple l'anglais, les collèges livrent les cours d'anglais, qui ne sont pas payés parfois, ou tu peux faire des GCC en anglais. Parce que si tu travailles à la police, tu auras besoin de communiquer avec les gens. Donc tu fais ton GCC en anglais, et puis tu es employé dans la police.
Okay.
My question is this: what is the starting salary if you join the police? That's the question I've been asked. I want people to know about that. Yeah.
Sure, the starting salary is just over about £33,500. However, there is free travel on the underground, the buses, and free travel within the first 70 miles of your home on a train. So if you add all that stuff up, it's a good starting salary.
Yeah.
J'ai posé la question sur les salaires de base, il dit c'est 33 500, mais en plus de cela, il y a le bus que tu prends sans payer, et si le train aussi n'est pas loin de ta maison, tu entres dans le train, tu ne payes pas. Donc quand tu fais la sommation, ça sera plus de... C'est beaucoup, calculez vous-même, moi je ne suis pas mathématicien, moi je suis plus de lettres.
Okay. So can I understand that you need to be a British citizen before you apply with the police?
Now there are entry requirements.
Okay.
And when you go onto the website, if you're not a British national, it will explain to you the process. So it's not an automatic bar.
Okay.
But there is more information, and quite often it's done on a case-by-case basis. So rather than me saying, oh, this is, you will find that all you need to do is just go onto the website, and if you don't find what you're looking for, all you need to do is contact the outreach team, and we will then make contact and go through and explain it.
Yeah.
Il vient demander s'il faut se mettre British avant de faire la demande. Il a dit, si vous partez dans le web de la police, tapez sur les outreach, vous verrez les conditions. Mais ce n'est pas vraiment que tu n'es pas British, tu es directement écarté. Vous verrez des conditions là-bas, ça pourrait vous aider, entrer en contact et on pourrait aider.
Yeah, Chief Superintendent, you can see it was important for you to come. You can see questions are still coming. Now I think we have to wrap up things. Many people will be asking questions. We have many activities. We'll be coming on this stage again to explain things through our projects. So it was a pleasure for us to have you today. And then we have to say thank you to everyone who have been following us.
Could I just say,
Yes.
so again, for the viewers as well, I apologize for being late. I'm hoping that the questions that you've received, if you can maybe email them, I can ensure that we will then provide the relevant response. And I'm hoping that, as has been asked before, this isn't the first, and hopefully this won't be the last. And hopefully by doing this on a more regular basis, people will feel more comfortable to ask more challenging questions. Because only by asking and discussing these points, then you can demonstrate that we're trying to work with the community. And I think hopefully doing more of things like this, I can maybe bring down some of my officers, bring down some of my female officers as well, that can explain what it's like to be a mother, and balancing home life and also doing the job as well. So I'm here, and I'll be more than happy if you'd like me to at some point in the future.
But before we let you go, please, you gotta sum up at the end. Before we let you go, there are questions about the vetting process.
Yes.
People are having problems because of that with the vetting process. They're not too sure. You know, when young people did something wrong, they ask themselves what's gonna happen if they want to apply.
Right.
So can you reassure people on that?
Right. So what I would say to anybody that is thinking of applying, contact my team, because we have members of our team that used to work within the vetting department. We also work very, very closely with the vetting team. Now, this is a vitally important point I'm going to say here and now.
Okay.
If you are unsure, it's better to pause on applying and wait till you speak to a member of our team, because if you complete the application form and you do not declare something knowingly and you sign the declaration and we find out, then you will be excluded under the honesty and integrity, and that will bar you from applying. So it's much better to wait, have the conversation, and we can then advise. And more often than not, as long as you declare it, it's not an issue. It's when you choose not to, then you fail under the honesty and integrity.
Okay.
Je vais résumer, commençant par la dernière partie, parce que il a posé la question sur le vetting system. Des gens qui ont peut-être fait quelque chose sans savoir si c'est mauvais ou bien. Il a dit, la meilleure façon, c'est avoir la conversation et on pourrait vous guider. Parce que si tu fais déjà l'application et tu sais que tu as commis peut-être un petit crime que tu n'as pas déclaré et qu'après on découvre ça, ça devient, vu la malhonnêteté, là, ça pose un problème. C'est mieux contacter son équipe. L'équipe travaille en close collaboration avec les gens qui vettent pour les passages. Alors comme ça, ils peuvent te donner les conseils qu'il faut. Après, tu peux faire ton application. Et il a dit, d'abord, excusez-moi pour le retard. Ça, on a déjà excusé passer les transports et tout ça, beaucoup de choses. Mais c'est la première fois qu'il vient comme ça ici, et que ça ne sera pas la dernière fois. Si vous avez besoin de moi dans de prochaines émissions, je serai prêt à venir même avec mon équipe et on viendra expliquer au public. Just a suggestion. Next time, I'd like to see who you are.
No.
I know when you come to the community,
Well,
you don't want to wear your uniform, yeah?
Oh, with my uniform.
Yeah, I know that you can
But
most of the
I
time.
think
You don't want to wear that.
I'm a detective chief super, so I don't wear a uniform.
Uniform.
Oh, you're detective.
But
You're
I
not
still have it. I'm not sure if it still fits me.
Yeah, thank you very much. We're gonna wrap up there. We're gonna have more activities, as you know, in our project.
Yes.
So we're gonna be having fairs
Yes.
where we're gonna be inviting the outreach team to
Yes.
attend
Yes.
and explain to people
Yes.
in different activities or
Yeah.
events we're gonna have
Yeah.
in the next 8 to 10 months.
That's good.
Yeah, so it was a pleasure, really a pleasure to
Really
have you
nice,
tonight.
Thank you.
The
And
waiting world with.
we're gonna just wish
Thank
you what we can wish him now.
All the
No,
best.
Merry Christmas first.
Thank you very much.
So
Yeah, Merry Christmas.
and then yeah, we happy.
Happy New Year.
No, bandeko ndenge bomoni to komi na suka ya emission na biso
Lingala.
to yambaki mokonzi oyo to bengi chief superintendent Jeff Booth azali mokonzi munene munene penza soki na kisasa na banzi ke mbele bamituka ta 5 6 7 et ko accompagner mais ayé na lokola simple monsieur à côté awa garde te monsieur na kisasa na banzi akoya kozala na 15 garde lelo ndenge akoti lelo mais zana oli kamute to yambiye ayé apesi bino ba réponse na makambo ba question bozalaki nango na mikolo ya to organiser ba activité susu ebele to sala misala ensemble na bato ya pakoru na société civile na ba église nyonso bandeko nyonso balingi po totala ndenge to koto poussa bandeko na biso bana na biso ba yana biso baleki na biso ba kota la police mais ba kota na kati ya boyebi déjà pour na nini bazokende kuna nini balimba kende kosala kuna po ba sala carrière na kati déjà ndenge na yoki salaire ndenge zo banda na banzike bokanisa malamu bandeko po misala musuto sala oyo eza black po salaire na yoki wana na moni kisa malamu mingi to éviter ce biso de autres comme policier kala mingi te bo bangate donc na pesi bino au revoir bye bye et puis tokuta na mbala sima bolanda biso na émission na biso mususu pe to kotina ba invitation pona ba activité ba event nyonso to kosala sima merci bye bye.
Bye. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank you, Chief Superintendent.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much. How many minutes? 40? Half?